Before going to these things, again I can remind you to recall the structure which we have seen this. So earlier, we had a symmetric atom like this, symmetric carbon atom at the center here, and I told you that it's a very symmetric molecule and has a tetrahedral structure. But here, I'll just tell you why we should prefer a rotation in the Fischer structure. So we have seen how the atom was exchanged. We exchanged this yellow bond with this white. Because we did one exchange, it was not proper, so we did another exchange. That is the Fischer formula. So you have a three-dimensional structure like this, right? And you convert it into a two-dimensional structure, right? Like this. So all in simple plane. So this you called it as the Fischer projection formula. And in the Fischer projection formula, you have only lines, right? So in the exchanges that you make, you should see that there are two exchanges. First is, if you exchange this with this, it is allowed. Then this and this and this. Two exchanges will bring the molecule back to the same position. So we had that exchange. And that three-dimensional structure was brought into a plane that was the Fischer projection formula. And in the Saar's projection, we wrote that up, the triangle, dark shaded triangle. Something which is away from you is dashed line. Something which is away from me is the solid wedge. Okay, solid wedge, dashed wedge. They represent this direction and that direction. Okay, so coming from a simple stereochemical structure into a very two-dimensional structure, followed by a representation of that is in the paper representation, give you these things. And in this session, we're going to see how the Newman projection is there. So actually the Newman projection is this one. Simple lines like this. Okay, simple lines. Remember this, we are going to draw more of such structures in our later part of the lecture series. So this is the Newman projection. Newman, that's the projection that you are going to see for the example. The difference between Saar's and Newman is using the same thing. Listen carefully. The difference between Saar's and Newman is, in the Newman projection formula, you will impose these two carbon atoms in one angle. The red and yellow both are carbon atoms, right? If I place red here, right, the yellow is hidden. Yellow on the red pinadi margin. So you see an axis. When you see an axis in which the yellow atom is hidden, you can slowly rotate like this, right? When you rotate like this, you can see the structure there. What do you see? You have got bond like this, like this, like this, like this. So these three, which are at the front, are connected by a circle, described by a circle. These three at the other end, I know this is a circle connecting three. You can connect it by means of a triangle also, but you can connect it by means of a circle also. So that circle, if you draw, you can see that all the bonds are in different directions. This circle belongs to this carbon atom, and this circle belongs to this carbon atom. So you have two carbon atoms. One circle is represented by the first carbon atom. Another circle is represented by the dot, the simple dot. So that gives you the Newman projection formula and that difference between the Newman and the Sahar's projection. In the Sahar's, you have simple lines. In the Sahar's, you have lines. There is nothing. But in the Newman, you have this type of structure, superimposed structure, and these three are represented by a circle, and this is represented by a dot. So let's go to the. Let me share the screen where we can see these descriptions very easily. So here it is, and it's coming up. I don't know why it is taking so much time. I started this screen long back. Okay, anyway, I'll try to write what a Newman projection formula is. It's taking time. But anyway, so let me again tell you, by the time the screen comes, let me again tell you that this structure is represented by a circle and dot. Circle and dot. Circle is this carbon atom, dot is this carbon atom. Okay, so I have, let me, represent it here. So a Newman projection formula is useful in alkane chemistry, which visualizes the conformation of a chemical bond from front to back, with the front atom represented by a dot and the back carbon atom as a circle. This one, a dot and a circle. Because you see it like this. You see the dot here. The dot is at the front and the circle is at the back. That is the Newman projection. You should not forget this Newman projection. In the Fisher projection, we had carbon atom like this, and all things were in the plane, in the 4-dimensional structure, and we had hydrogen at the lowest priority. We are going to see hydrogen atom at the last and at the back of the structure, and then there was this wedge structure, dashed and solid wedge structure. Okay, that is the difference. Here, this carbon atom is attached by 3 hydrogen atoms. 3 hydrogen atoms. And the back carbon atom, which is red, is attached by 3. These are the 3 hydrogen atoms, and these are the 3 hydrogen atoms. Here this carbon atom 1, carbon atom. I stop this. Let me see what is this. Okay. I'll add image. So let us say how we start. This is the structure. This is the stop here and let me just wait. So here is the text that I wrote in the beginning. That is regarding the Fischer projection formula, the Newman projection formula, and the general formula, how it is written. So we used this. The Newman projection is useful in alkane and steel chemistry, and this is what they are already given. So let me import some structures and tell you about them. This is the beginning of the structure for here. You see, you can see this in chemistry. Right. So ethane is taken as an example. First, it is rotated 120 degree, and then it is rotated by 60 degree. You can see that these bonds, which are on the same side, they appear in the opposite side after 180 degree rotation. Okay. So in the next image, we are going to see how a substitution, how this rotation causes the different conformation when you look along the bond. So this carbon atom is this one, and this carbon atom is this one. And because you have got 180 degree, it is called as the staggered conformation. It's called as the staggered conformation, and it remains a very essential point in the entire stereochemistry when you write the conformation. So in the third picture, which I am going to import, it shows another format. That format is known as the eclipsed conformation. Eclipse means, I think you know. In general eclipse, we just Surya Girgam, Lunar Girgam of it, right? Chandra Girgam of it. In this, the 180 degree which you have shown is just comes to 0 degree, and that we call it as the eclipse conformation. This is the another important structure that is there. So what have you done? The H was initially on this side. H was on this side. So it has been rotated and brought like this. Okay. So you have two conformation. One is the staggered conformation. The next one is the eclipse conformation. The third one that I am going to show you is the called as the gauche conformation. So you see that in the gauche conformation, in the place of one hydrogen atom is here initially. This is being substituted by methyl group, and this is the methyl group. When you substitute them, you get a 2 methyl group by about 60 degree. 60 degree. It's called as the gauche form, and it is important. Gauche also has got some literal meanings also in English, but that you don't bother. Here you should remember that the gauche form is one in which you have methyl group substituted by a hydrogen atom. So later on, what has happened here is the two CH3 groups which are there have moved to another 60 degree. So when it is moved, it comes to like this. It is known as the eclipsed form. So we have three forms: staggered form, gauche form. Gauche form is only when you have CH3, and then eclipsed form, and then the eclipsed form. And gauche form, you have to mention that it is only in terms of the butane, not a simple molecule. So the last of this structure is the antiform. This antiform is actually a staggered form. This antiform is actually a staggered form. But what has happened is staggered form. What has happened is the CS3 and this CS3 are quite opposite. Okay. As a result of that, they experience minimum repulsion. Minimum repulsion. The repulsion is calculated in terms of the kilocalories per mole. In terms of the kilocalories per mole. So all different conformers with the degree rotation and energy calculation are summed up in this diagram. It's a very important diagram which shows the energy of different forms. You have to write that particular energy in almost all the questions that are asked connected with the Fisher equation. Okay, so this is the graph that explains different forms. You can see eclipse to A is there, eclipse to B is there, Gauss form is there, antiform is there. Antiform is actually a staggered form. Staggered form. And because you call it as anti, because you've got two CS3 group in opposite direction. Okay, in opposite direction. So least repulsion. As a result of that, it has least repulsion and zero energy. That zero energy is what you have here. Okay. Now the next is you have moved this to slightly to this position. When you move this to slightly this position, these two methyl groups are by about 60 degree. When you have 60 degree, you call it as the Gauss form. Okay. Gauss form has energy of about 0.9 kilocalorie per mole. This is 0 calorie per mole. Okay. The third eclipsed one is further moving of this methyl group to this particular position. Further moving this means another by another 60 degree. Is 60 degree here and 60 degree here. A total of 120 degree. That gives a molecule about 3.8 kilocalories per mole. And the last one is the eclipsed A, in which both methyl groups are same overlapping and have high energy. High energy. What is the energy? The energy is 4.5 kilocalories per mole. Okay, so the energy is in the x-axis and in the y-axis. Degrees of rotation 0, 60, 120, 180. This is 0 degree rotation. This is 60 degree rotation. This is 2 into 60 degree rotation, and this is 180 degree rotation. So with this, I already explained, but because of some flap, I missed the video. So that is why I am again summing it up. So this forms the Sahar's projection. In the Sahar's, you have only lines. In the Sahar's, I'll just sum up. Sahar's has got only lines. What are these? These are the lines. And in the Newman projection law, you convert this into dot, and you convert this carbon into a circle. And this has a dot. This bond is what you write here. Okay. If you see them in a particular angle, they are represented like this. So 1, 2, and 3 are connected to this. 1, 2, and 3 are connected to this. Okay. 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 are connected to this. So this becomes Sahar's and this becomes. Okay. So I start with this. You go to the notes. If you have any doubts, you just ask. Thank you for